2019 Committee on Aging meeting to order. Roll the call, please. Or, do the roll call, please.
Sue Ashton, excuse. Heidi Bassford Kirkhoff,
Here.
Julie Kiefer,
Here.
Lurton Blassingame,
Here.
Ron Durkop,
Here.
Sandy Klecko,
Here.
Julie Maslowski,
Here.
Judy Ritchie,
Here.
Deb Allison Osby. Here.
Okay. And we will have an approval of the June 4th minutes that were emailed to you. Any additions or corrections?
Move approval.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Citizen statements. Erin, did you have anything from the health department?
The only thing I wanted to share is August 27th, there is going to be a Building a Better You while maintaining a healthy life balance. It is an event that is put on by the Finding Balance Together group, which is a falls coalition in our area. And it's going to be at UW Fox Valley. We're going to have Dr. Sodi, who's going to be doing this speaking. He does a really nice presentation about nutrition, but it's falls related, but we're looking at a whole healthy life balance because everything kind of leads to falls eventually. So, it's one of those things where we're going to talk about nutrition. We're going to talk about just mental health, socialization. There's going to be plenty of vendors there. Trying to think different demos. There's going to be a Tai Chi demo, maybe some opportunity to do that. We're going to try to work with Oshkosh Fire Department and have something set up to kind of show people where the fall hazards are in the home and kind of do some education along that route. So last year we had about 200 people show up, so this year we're kind of hoping for a little bigger and better, and it's, I didn't mention, going to be at the UW Fox Valley, which is Midway Road in Menasha. And you can go to the Finding Balance website, which I believe is findingbalancetogether.org, and register, or I can come with more of like a phone number next time.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any? Okay.
Yeah, hopefully they will, either the fire department or someone else, give instruction to people on how do you get up if you fall.
Right.
There are more and more people that fall and aren't able to get up because they don't know how.
Well, and then the other thing I do through Winnebago County is I have a Stay Active, Be Confident program where I will go into the home. So if you have concerns about falls in your home, you just call the health department, ask for Erin, and we can set up a time, and I just come to your home and we have those discussions. Like, what are you going to do if you fall? We talk about, like, what are exercises you can do. We go through the house and see where those fall hazards are. So that's something that I can do also as a nurse with the health department. So.
And one of the things to probably add into that is if you have the power recliner lift chair, how do you get out of it when there's a power failure and the backup doesn't work?
That's true. You don't think of that stuff, but you're right.
Yeah.
It happens more often than people like to think for.
Yeah.
Okay. Kyle, did you have anything?
Certainly. Sure. Hi there, Kyle King from Mercy Gero Psych. Just an update on our unit. We are finishing up construction of our additional 7 beds. On Wednesday is our final walkthrough with the state and turnover. So we're happy to be expanding and getting up to our 15 beds. Part of that construction was also completion of our dedicated group room for our patients. Just a little bit of update on the unit as well. Things are starting to get increasingly busy, which is good to hear. Been averaging around 6 patients or so throughout the month of May, which with the construction we've been down to 6 beds. So we've been staying full. So we're happy to see the beds be turned over to us, and with the increased beds, hopefully our census will continue to increase as well. So.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for it? Okay.
That's good.
All right, then moving on. Julie, would you like to do your presentation?
Sure.
And for the benefit of the people who are watching this on tape, this is Julie Kiefer. She is a member of the committee, and she is also with UWO. And go ahead.
Okay. So I'm from the Division of Online and Continuing Ed. I work specifically in continuing ed. The online portion of our division really works with adults who are looking to complete a degree online. It's really for working adults. And those of us who work in continuing ed are really working with people who are probably looking for a shorter term solution, maybe professional skill development, continuing education units, or personal interest. And that's what I'm going to talk about is personal interest. One of the first programs I work with is called Grandparents University. This is a program that we do for a day and a half in July. It's for grandparents and their grandchildren to come on campus and learn together. The grandchildren have to be ages 8 to 12. They get to choose one of 4 majors, and they learn within that major for a day and a half, and then they have a kind of Titan-themed graduation. They have the option to stay on campus if they wish, or we do have a commuter option as well. But it's really a great way for intergenerational learning together. We also offer women's wellness and education retreats. We do 2 of those a year. We offer one the 3rd weekend in October and one the 1st weekend in March. These are a program where I really did not want to compete with other people who were doing women's weekends. We were really looking for a real educational component for this. To be more cutting edge, not cliche wellness, not diet schemes. This is really cutting edge education in what is going on in women's wellness. It gives women, an opportunity to be with like-minded women. It's definitely a chance to unplug, rest, and relax. And that opportunity to try new foods, new opportunities for exercise and ways of thinking. I think there's a lot of opportunity for paradigm shifts or new information from the old table that we all learned in school of what we should be doing nutritionally. A lot of that has changed, and it's really hard for us to get past some of those thoughts of fat is bad and those kinds of things. So typically the women who come to this, I would say, are at least 45, more like 50 to 65 is my typical participant. Some come as families, sisters, mother-daughter kind of, and then some women come alone and just are looking to meet new people. We hold this at the Oshkosh Resort. It's 2 nights. They get 4 delicious and healthy meals and snacks. It's one of those things that I always prep them. I say, we all say we would eat healthy if someone would cook for us. And then it's funny when you present people with a totally healthy meal, how much people say, But it lets you try some really new and different foods. We offer exercise options. We do one high-intensity one and one lower-intensity one every morning, educational sessions. And then we do offer continuing education units for those that are interested in receiving those as well. And then we get to end the evening Saturday night with 2 hours in the spa. So that's fun. Okay, so learning in retirement. This program is really one of those great programs and a real jewel and a real complement to all the other services that are offered in our community. I like to remind people that this is not mutually exclusive of all the other options in our community. There are many organizations serving older adults, and we can all work together in serving people. This program was created in '97 out of our office. There are different variations throughout the state and even throughout the country. Those that have lifelong learning. They may have somewhat of a different name, but they typically are associated with an area of higher ed, whether it's a technical school or a four-year university. What is unique about learning in retirement? It is really self-directed and member-based. So as opposed to any other kind of typical program out of a university where someone is determining a curriculum and what you're going to learn, the members really choose this themselves. They plan their own curriculum. So they have a curriculum committee, they meet for a semester, and they're planning for the upcoming semester. So they organize those classes, they participate in some peer teaching, and they say they have all the fun of learning without tests and grades. So you can go in, you can learn about a topic, and you can walk away without having to do anything else. Right now, we're offering over 50 offerings a semester. So there's something most days of the week, which works out to about 100 programs in the school year. They really do run September through early June. And their membership year starts in July, and they run through June. So every year they have the option to become members again. Some of these things that you might see are faculty might do a presentation or some other expert in the field. And they also do some trips. They like to see industry, they go to the theaters, music, museums, and other area businesses. And here's just another list of some of those typical things that you would see in a semester. And again, it really depends on who's on that curriculum committee, what kind of ideas they're getting, and who they're able to connect with. And what's really exciting that we're working on right now is, many of you know probably that the four-year UW universities have all combined now with their closest two-year campuses. So UW Oshkosh has now combined with UW Fox Cities and UW Fond du Lac, and we will start expanding course offerings at UW Fox coming in the winter of 2020. We have a committee that's just formed right now. They're going to work on planning somewhere between 20 to 25 programs for the upper end of our county or those that live in the northern Fox City area. And lastly, that's just how to contact us. If you are interested in learning in retirement specifically, the new catalog will be available, I would say, in about 10 days. And we will be mailing that out to our current members or anybody on our interest list. If you are watching this and would like more information about LIR, you can definitely contact our Con Ed, or you can contact us. I think I had it on one of those slides. Let me go back. How to get a hold of learning and retirement specifically. Our email is lir@uwosh.edu, and the web is uwosh.edu/LIR. They have a very good website for anybody who's looking for more information about that. Any questions? Yes.
For the grandparents of
Mhm.
university, is there a cost to that?
There is a cost, yes.
And then, is there a specific site or something that you can go to get more information?
Right, that was a UW Osh Go GU. Mm-hmm.
The women's retreat sounded fine. What about a men's retreat? Because we're also interested in all the things that were mentioned there for women.
I agree. If I thought I had enough men who were interested and would sign up, I would consider doing it. So if you think you could get 50 men together, I find that.
Miracle.
Yeah.
Yes.
How'd you get the 50 women together?
We've done a lot of promoting to our alumni and to those locally.
And we could do the same method of reaching out to people for men as well as for women.
Mm-hmm.
Good. I mean, 2 hours in the spa sounds fine to me, too.
All right, thank you.
Julie, how many members do you have? Maybe you covered that and I missed it.
No, I don't think I did. So right now we're at 292,
Okay.
and that's a good amount. We kind of, between 250 and 300 is kind of where we fall typically.
Is there an age requirement for the LIR?
Well, the majority of programming is during the day. Now they say 50. However, I wouldn't turn anyone away, but typically someone who's going to be available is probably retirement age.
And members are allowed to bring guests depending on the particular event.
They are. They are allowed to bring guests. Sometimes there are some programs with a fee if they're having a meal or there's a ticket or something, and so then there's a little bit of an upcharge for a guest. But otherwise, yes, anyone can try it out and come as a guest.
Anyone else have any questions? Okay, well, thank you, Julie.
Yeah, thank
Yes,
you.
thanks.
Okay. Bobby, did you? Okay. Bobby handed out a committee list, and just double check that your information is correct. If it's not, would you contact her after the meeting and she'll get it revised? All right. Any other new business?
Do we have alternates?
No, we don't.
Or we going? are
Okay,
we
Deb
going to
could
get
address that.
alternates?
It's still, we're still in discussion.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, any other new business? All right, then moving on, old business. Lurton, strengthening our partnership with neighborhood associations and other partners.
Went to the monthly meeting at the Oshkosh Senior Center of the Neighborhood Association representatives and spoke briefly about the wellness collaboration classes, the stepping on, the Tai Chi, the strong bodies, the healthy living with diabetes, the tools for caregivers, and so on. I mentioned to them if they didn't know about the Oshkosh food trucks, 5 to 9 on the various states. Spoke about the Active Minds community with a handout, and the public library home delivery program, the Oshkosh Public Library various programs, the cooking program, the consideration program, the Book a Librarian program, and almost all of those had handouts. So I think we're expanding what we learn here to at least the representatives of the associations. It's a good program.
Lurton, how many people attend those representative meetings? There's like 15 or so
I think
neighborhood
there's 16
associations?
neighborhoods,
16,
and
okay.
probably my guess is there would be 12 to 13 people there.
Okay, okay. Good.
Okay, any other questions for him? Moving on, improve access to affordable transportation and delivery services for seniors. We haven't had a work group meeting for a while, so nothing really major to add there. Creating community design and policy that supports an age-friendly community. Jean, and Heidi, you just worked on a survey with her?
I met with her a couple of weeks ago, and what we did was talk about if that was something we wanted to pursue, was having a survey for those individuals that go to the senior center and maybe other community places where we can see how the city of Oshkosh is meeting the needs of the older population in this community. And AARP had a survey, and that was something that we had talked about perhaps utilizing with the approval of this board, just to see, how are we doing. In addition to that, Jean had asked me to contact somebody from Public Works to see what do they see as the need in this community for our older population. And I spoke with a gentleman yesterday, and he stated that the biggest need he sees is the snow removal. And he said, you know, sometimes people will just pay the fee instead of actually hiring someone to get the snow removed. And that could be upwards of around $100 per removal, which I thought, wow, that's a lot. And just was wondering, you know, are there organizations out there that would be able to help fill this gap? And I said, you know, how many times a year is this, you know, an issue? And he said about a half a dozen to a dozen times. So we're not looking at a large number by any means. And I don't know if you've been seeing what has been going on around social media, where there are students at a high school in another state who are doing yard work and snow removal in lieu of or for FIED credit, and thinking, gee, how could we implement something like this in our community so that we can help serve those that need, and so that they don't have to pay, you know, the large fees.
How many fees were paid?
I didn't ask him on that. I don't know if he handles the bookkeeping.
Is it 5 or 50 or?
Well, he said, you know, there's about 6 to 12 a year, so.
Events.
Snowfalls.
Oh.
But within the snowfall, how many people?
I didn't ask him specifically
Because
in
it could
regards
make
to
a
that.
difference,
Oh,
you know.
absolutely,
No.
absolutely. But, you know, he says that's the greatest need that he sees in this community. And so I'm gonna sit down with Jean and we'll talk about this and would like some direction on where you would like us to go with that.
Okay. I do know that the neighborhood association that includes Washington Avenue, there's been a lot of emails this past winter of so-and-so can't get out to do their shoveling, can a neighbor? And it seems to have, at least from my source the other day, it seems to be taken care of quite well in certain of the neighborhoods, that there's just a neighbor goes out and takes care of that. And not always knowing ahead of time, but a phone call or an email pretty well takes care of it. And if we see that happening in more neighborhoods, we're going back to the old society of neighbors helping neighbors. And that's part of the premise of the neighborhood association. So I think that's a good thing. So.
Yes. And for those who don't live in such a neighborhood, we could also do this.
But I think wasn't that a school in Nebraska that was doing the lawn mowing this year?
I don't recall this date, but you are probably correct.
They were using gym credits.
Right.
Instead of doing regular gym classes. They were getting out. They were getting the exercise by doing the lawn work, but they were also making good friends, good neighbors out of the entire program. And that some of the neighboring districts were starting to pick up on it too.
So then you would want to try to find out where the need is, as well as how many.
I can go back and talk to Public Works about that.
Deb?
There is a school right here in the city of Oshkosh, and I can share that information with you after the meeting, that community service is part of their graduation credits.
Correct.
They're always
Yeah.
looking for opportunities to serve, so it doesn't specifically have to be a part of a organization. It just has to be something that's community service, in which the principal, as long as they know ahead of time, can approve it. So that might be something that might be of interest, because that's for 9th all the way through 12th grade.
Mm-hmm.
That's good to know, thank you.
Absolutely.
It also goes along with some of the confirmation service requirements. So lots of opportunities.
The program you're talking about with the FIED credits, will that be coordinated through the school system, I would think?
Correct, that is correct.
Even though it'd be summer work with the lawns anyway?
True, I mean, there are kids who take summer classes.
Sure.
So, and I don't know what's all available in the schools in regards to that. However, that's something that could be implemented as
Yeah.
well, summer or winter.
Some good possibilities, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Improving communication and visibility of available services to seniors. Ron?
Okay, just a few updates on some things we've been talking about for a number of months here. One is an update on Assembly Bill 76. That had to do with the training requirements for certified nursing assistants. It's companion bill, Senate Bill 103. And we covered in our last meeting that, and it's in the June minutes, that AB 76 did pass the Assembly, and the vote was 66 to 31, so it was pretty overwhelming. And again, this bill reduced the training hours required for CNAs essentially in half, from 150 to 75, which is the federal requirement. And in the Senate, the status is that it's had its first reading and a public hearing, and no further action has taken place, so it's still pending in the Wisconsin Senate. The second update has to do with the June 18th House vote to extend protections for spousal impoverishment and Money Follows the Person, those two programs. This bill is called the Empowering Beneficiaries, Ensuring Access, and Strengthening Accountability Act, H.R. 3253. That bill is now in the Senate, and it includes a 4.5-year extension of both the expansion of the spousal impoverishment protection to Medicaid home and community-based services and the Money Follows the Person program. And earlier this year, Congress had extended both programs to through September of this year. So they extended it now 4.5 years out. Efforts are still being made to make these two programs permanent rather than having to keep legislating to keep them going. And these efforts would ensure then that married couples have the same financial protections whether they receive Medicaid long-term care services and supports at home, in an institution, and that the state have the assurances that they can keep their Money Follows the Person programs running. And the Money Follows the Person program, also referred to as MFP, allows for Medicaid funding in a nursing home to be used for home care services if a person becomes eligible while they're in a nursing home and needs to have services at home and can then be discharged from nursing home care. So a great resource, and it certainly is, I know, being used here in Winnebago County. The third update has to do with the Medicare Payment Advisory Commission, or MedPAC's, recommendations to improvements in the complex Medicare Part B enrollment process. We've been talking about BENIS, the BENIS Act, which is the Beneficiary Enrollment, Notification, and Eligibility Simplification, BENIS Act. And that's is at the federal level. Senate Bill 1280 and House of Representatives Bill 2477. So currently, only individuals who applied for or are receiving Social Security benefits at age 65 or by the age of 65 are notified when their Medicare Part B eligibility comes up, which is age 65, and you've got a 7-month window, the month of your birth, 3 months before and 3 months after that month of birth, to apply for a Medicare Part B program, whether it be regular original Medicare or one of the Medicare Advantage options. And everyone else must initiate action on their own to make a Medicare enrollment choice, taking into consideration specific timelines and existing coverage. And if this transition is mismanaged, as it often is, individuals new to Medicare may face lifetime late enrollment penalties, higher health care costs, gaps in coverage, and disruptions in care continuity. As of 2016, there's about 800,000 people on Medicare who are paying those late enrollment penalties, and they'll pay them until they die, essentially. So this BENIS Act would fill the long-standing gap in outreach and education by directing the federal government to notify individuals who are approaching Medicare eligibility about their enrollment options and their responsibilities. So that would be a real plus, I think, if this act could get passed, because many people are delaying taking their Social Security if they can. But everybody needs to apply for Medicare during that seven-month window when they're turning 65. And if your full retirement age is, say, 66 or soon to be 67 for some people, the mindset has been that you sign up for Medicare when you become a full retirement age. Well, then you've missed it by maybe a couple of years as the age turns to 67. So that's why there's a problem with it, and you get stuck with this penalty forever. So hopefully they can find a way to notify people, hey, you're turning 65, here's your 7-month window, and go to work on it. Questions on any of those? Okay.
Julie?
I have something for other business.
Okay. Were there any other questions on that? Okay, moving on, other business, we added this month, discussion of scams. It seems to be something we bring up under other business every month. And so moving forward, we're going to have on our monthly agenda discussion of scams. Doesn't hurt to repeat the information sometimes. And what's been very interesting, and it's not just the younger population, the older population becomes a target also at times, and that's the romance scams. And Wisconsin is like number 3 in the country as far as targeting and getting those calls. And it ends up that many of these folks that are targeted are losing significant amount of money. So recently, WBAY Target 2 did a consumer alert and also had talked about a free tool for consumers with the data breaches, which again, many of us have had that happen in the last couple of years. So next month, I'll bring in some more detailed information and a website that'll go up on the screen to help you with that. So I know you've got something.
Just a little bit more on scams. The news release from the Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade and Consumer Protection on June 12th focused on DATCP, which is the Wisconsin Department of Agriculture and Consumer Protection, being your partner in the fight against senior fraud. And they talked about seniors between the ages of 70 and 79 who fell for scams in 2018 had a median loss of more than $700, and consumers 80 and over lost $1,700, 4 times more money than victims in their 20s, which was a 400. So I mean, there's victims all along the line here, but seniors tend to lose more when they are victimized by scams. Their focus is on education, and they had put this out around the June 15th World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, and recognizing that education is the key to avoiding fraud. The Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade and Consumer Protection is proud to offer a number of free resources for seniors and their caregivers. And the first one they talk about is the what they call their best resource, and that's the Consumer Protection Hotline at 800-422-7128, 800-422-7128. And they also have a hotline a website at DATCP hot, H-O-T, line, L-I-N-E, at wisconsin.gov. And they talk about this hotline team being available during business hours for your consumer questions to help Wisconsinites make sense of potential scam attempts. In other words, did you receive a threatening phone call and want to know if you're at risk? They say contact the hotline team. Are you thinking about hiring a contractor for a project but want to see if there's a complaints on file against that business? Give the hotline a call. They said that we're here to provide information and help you find resources for your issue. The other resource they talk about is the DATCP's Senior Guide, and they say this is a 50-plus page booklet addressing financial elder abuse by providing tips on a wide range of scams and consumer protection issues, and you can get a free copy by calling the hotline or going on to their website at datcp.wisconsin.gov. The other thing that they kind of focus on, they say, even with a quick review of those resources, particularly the Senior Guide, you and your loved ones should be able to spot the common scams that target seniors and know what actions to take to avoid being a victim. And they give 3 examples. There's many more, but if you receive a call that claims you have won a major prize despite having never entered a sweepstakes or other contest, you will know that scammers often target seniors with phony prize winnings pitches. And the scammer wants you to pay for taxes and fees on the non-existent prize, and you'll know that's the time to hang up and disregard the pitch. Another is if a caller claims to be with Microsoft, Apple, or a tech support business and tells you that your computer has a virus. You would recognize this as a standard tech support scam pitch and would know to hang up immediately. You will never get a call from a legitimate business telling you that there's a problem with your computer or web-connected device. And the final one they mention is if a caller claims to be a relative in trouble, needs money immediately, and asks you to keep the call a secret, you know that this request is likely part of a grandparent scam. You would know to hang up and call the relative in question or another close relative to check into the story. So,
Just a few.
more
Yes.
to come, yeah.
I don't know if our Committee on Aging has a library of things, but sending for that book would be a good thing if we were to have some sort of, Bobby could keep that as a library.
Sure. In fact, the resource room
Sure.
at the senior center maybe could have copies available
And-
there.
And we could have one for when we're doing events out for people to look at.
Sure.
The information, how to acquire it.
Absolutely, yeah. In
Well-
fact, they do have a publication now that covers some of the scams. I forget the name of it now. We talked about it in a couple meetings back. That is available already, but this might be another one to add to that.
One that's
Recent.
more recent of those is calling up and saying there's a problem with your Social Security.
Yep. Yep.
And, please give us this kind of information and we'll try to work it out.
Or like the one we talked about last month, where the spoofer is calling from Social Security and saying,
Exactly.
your benefit could be increased.
Right.
And we just need some information from you, and we'll take care of that for you. Who doesn't want their benefit increased? So, the victimization is ever present.
Another one out there is when in people reading obituaries and contacting the survivors and selling their story of in either that there's money that is due the estate from an outstanding debt to that person, or on the other hand, that person owed this debt
Yeah.
and trying to acquire money. So it's never ending. It's constantly evolving.
I did receive a Social Security related voicemail because we never answered the phone. And of course, the biggest clue was they couldn't pronounce Social Security correctly.
Yeah.
Well, and I think one of the sad things in all of this is, like, our insurance companies are making robocalls to contact you about something. They don't leave a voicemail, and it never comes up as United Insurance or Network Insurance or whatever. It's just a phone number. And if you go on whitepages.com or some of these other resources, it doesn't show up either, the phone number. So I, for one, don't pick up on any number that I don't recognize.
Right. It's good policy.
Either leave me a voicemail or, and even the voicemail sometimes I'm a little suspicious of. But it's sad that the society has gotten that way, but it's important to protect everyone, so.
Sandy, in your case, did they spoof the Social Security number as well, or don't you know that?
I don't really
Oh,
know,
okay.
because the only bit that I got mentioned Social Security, but they didn't say it correctly, and of course, I would not call back.
Right.
And if you get a call, say, Lutheran, can I call you Lutheran? My name is Mike. And I said, sure.
Yeah.
May I look at you, that last one? Thank you. And get back.
Okay. Anything else? Julie?
Yeah, I just wanted to make everyone aware that the 2019 Walk to End Alzheimer's is for Oshkosh is on Saturday, September 21st. It will be taking place at Oshkosh North High School. Registration begins at 8 a.m., so we hope you can join us.
And if you can get a poster for us before next time, we can
Absolutely.
send it out, and we can also put it up on the screen.
Perfect.
Thank you. Julie, other Julie, did you have anything else to add to today's meeting?
I did not.
Aaron, you're not on the committee, but anything else?
Nothing else.
Deb? Heidi?
Good.
Lurton?
Who am I to go against consensus?
I don't know. Ron, did you have anything else?
No, nothing.
Oh, okay. Our next meeting date is August 6th here. The speaker is still to be confirmed. It's a new person at Aurora, and we're just trying to make sure that that's a date that's available. If not, I've got a backup in mind. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
We're adjourned.